Good morning, good morning, good morning, you lovely lot. I've already done this once and it all went to pot because my plans for today have gone to pot. I was going to go and visit a rare plants, sorry, I'm just plugging us in, a rare plants thing at a local house, like with big gardens and stuff. We've walked past it on one of my walks before. And unfortunately it's tickets only and it's open till 4, and I thought, well, I can walk there, it'll be really nice, go for a hike at the same time, but it closes at 4 and the only tickets that were left were from 3 o'clock, and I'm not paying for an hour to just go there. So I started having a look to see what else I could find and go and do, and I've come to the conclusion I'm going to go and do a hill called Pulpit Hill, I think. Hold on. Pulpit Hill, Hillfort. It's near a place called Princess Risborough. So not a billion miles away, and the weather is looking reasonable. It could potentially chuck it down, but you know, hey ho, I've got a raincoat. So that's where we're heading. We're going to head to Pulpit Hill and go and find this Iron Age Hillfort. It's groundwork, so you're not going to see some huge great big stoneworks and stuff like that. Don't get terribly excited, but I'll add some pictures in so you can see kind of what it would have looked a bit like, an artist's interpretation, not me, I'm not the artist, of what they think it looked like back in the day. So we're going to head off. Okay, I've found the car park. It's literally on the side of the road. It is quite busy, but there's plenty of little pull-in bits if you need to. The postcode for this spot is HP27ONB. If you need, what would be 0NB, wouldn't it actually? Because it would be a number rather than a letter. HP270NB. So, yeah, if you're looking for a nice walk, then come check out this spot near Princess Risborough. So the walk I have planned is about an hour's walk, so it's not terribly far. It is up and downhill, so, you know, being the nature of a hill fort. So with your back to the car park, which is behind me, you want to head to the left-hand corner of the car park and follow the trail. It will be signpost National Trust Pulpit Woods, Pulpit Hill, something like that. So I can go straight up that way, or I can go the ridgeway, which is that way. So Jackie and I have actually walked this when we did our ridgeway walk. So we're heading straight uphill towards the hill fort. That is the way my route tells me to go. So straight into the climb there. If you haven't yet seen the playlist with mine and Jackie's ridgeway walk, then I'll add a little link to the playlist in the description below, because that will show you the whole route of the ridgeway that we did after about 14 walks? I can't remember. 80 something miles anyway. So add that down below so you can go and click on it and have a look. That was a bit of a steep climb. There are people coming, so I'm not hanging around. I'll go that way. A thing I have noticed this year, bearing in mind I have done a lot of walking despite lockdown, is I get out of breath very quickly now. And it was actually interesting, something that Daryl said to me when I was away, is that when I was really ill at the beginning of the year, pre-COVID knowledge, technically, I mean, a lot of people think I had it and my sisters had it, and then Jackie took that test and it said that she hadn't had it. That was months later. It turns out about a week after she took the test that those tests were recalled for not working. So we still don't know, but one of the side effects is that you end up getting breathless quicker, that you're left with. And that's definitely the case for me this year. Just walking up that hill has exhausted me. Look at these trees. I love this. This is really pretty. Obviously I'm not saying I've had it I won't know unless I actually do take an antibody test. But yeah, it was just something Darryl said. He said, well, you do know you were really ill at the beginning of the year, and one of the signs, one of the symptoms of being left breathless. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what my sister's symptoms are, you know, months on. The sun's come out. Excellent. I love being in the woods and seeing the light come through, and just the way everything changes. The colours change, everything dapples, the effects of the light, the leaves. Let's see the shadows of the leaves on the ground. Isn't that awesome? There's so much more to see on a sunny day when you walk. So we are currently on the outer edge of the ramparts of the hill fort. So you can see, I mean, they've got this here to protect it eroding anymore. But these here, you can see the ramparts of the hill fort. Let's follow it round and go and get a better look. So at this point, there's an area for us to safely cross the rampart without causing too much damage. It's sort of a fenced off area. You look down there, and we can just about see the rampart. It's a bit overgrown. And then we come in through here to enter the hill fort. You have to use your imagination. You know, imagine this being a hustly bustly place, fortified and all that jazz. Oh, look, someone's made a den. I know it might just look like woodland, but you can see that it's been sort of manufactured. Now imagine back in the day that all these trees were not here. And you'll get a better view of that in a minute in the walk. But a lot of these big trees were not here, so there was an open view across the landscape. So they would be able to see, you know, any invaders or anybody approaching. I know I haven't walked very far at all, but because this isn't a very big walk, I'm just going to sit here on this tree trunk log thing, and have a little bit of my tea and maybe have my crisps. We'll see. I'll have a little snackette. Bit of a better view of the earthworks from this sort of point. Let's see how it swings all the way around. Obviously it has got a lot smaller over the decades. If you imagine these trees weren't here, you would have just a huge view for many, many miles off into the distance. You know, I mean, this is all grown up, obviously, since the Iron Age. It would have definitely been quite a commanding point on the hilltop for the people that lived here, you know, to feel safe and protected. I think at some point this tree might have blocked our path when it tumbled down the hill, but someone's come along, probably the Forestry Commission or the Woodland Trust, and given it a good old chop, chop, chop. But they leave all the bits here so they can rot away and you know, go back into the earth and fertilise and nourish other trees and plants and wildlife. And also it creates great habitats for all sorts of creatures and bugs. Ooh, not that it's particularly tasty anymore. Look, yummy berries. Anyone fancy trying to count the rings on that tree to see how old it was? That'd take you some doing, wouldn't it? I would hazard a guess at many, many hundreds and hundreds of years, if not longer. There's obviously some restrictions in place to protect the site from horses and mountain bikes. I have just met a very nice hiker who was coming the opposite direction, so we just compared paths on her map with my map, and I was where I thought I was, so I was still on the track. That's okay. I was a little bit worried I wasn't on the track, but I think this walk is going to end very quickly. It's only 1.5 miles walk, and for me that's just, it's nothing, is it really? So I might end up exploring it a little further and getting completely lost later. Welcome to our farm. The Chilterns is a working landscape which supports our crops and livestock as well as our habitats for countless wildlife species. We and other farmers across the region are working hard to conserve and enhance the landscape, grow crops to provide delicious and nutritious food for you, and protect the landscape for future generations to enjoy. Please help us by sticking to the footpaths, keeping your dogs on leads and respecting field margins and other important habitats that are signposted on our farm. Absolutely. I've finally managed to find you a spot that doesn't have any sort of trees blocking it. Now you can see how far they would have been able to see from the top of their hill fort. You can see why they picked it as a location. And the ridgeway runs right by it, which later in history became a trading route for cattle and goods. So it's a perfect location. Look at that. And I am lucky enough to live in this place. Clearly not right here, but you know. Out there. I live out there somewhere. So we've got several paths. I'm not entirely sure which one to take. That one actually looks like it goes under a barbed wire fence, which doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense. That can't be a proper path, can it? Let's try this over here. This says stick to footpaths, but then you've got like 3 different paths heading off in different directions. So that's kind of gone out the window straight away, hasn't it? Hello, mushrooms. Pink clover. I can hear a gate or something over here, so I suspect that's the route we want to go down. There's another little hilltop over there. Wonder if that's where we're heading. Oh my goodness. Sweet treats. Oh yeah. Don't mind if I do. Very, very ripe though. All over my fingers now. Oh yeah, you can see for miles. Miles and miles. See all along that Chiltern ridgeline there. Whole of the Chilterns. And also Aylesbury Vale as well. See the whole lot from here. Now I'm not meant to be going up to this hill here. But I could take a detour, couldn't I? So this here is the ridgeway, which Jackie and I will have walked this at some point, because we did the ridgeway last year, as I said. So at some point we will have come all the way through here. And I do vaguely remember the name Pulpit Hill, so that would take me back to the car. I'm not ready to go back to the car yet. 1.5 miles is nothing, is it really? So I'm going to go and have a look at the top of that hill as well. It says a footpath, so let's go and see it. I really need to come back here in the autumn, because can you imagine the different colours these trees are going to go? You can see some of them are already turning, going a bit yellowy. I mean, it's mainly a beechwood, but there's all sorts of other trees in there as well. It's not just beech, although it's predominantly beech. You can tell just looking, there's a real mix in there. You can tell autumn's here. All the fruit and the berries, edible and some not so edible, all start cropping up. Perfect for the birds and wildlife, even if we can't enjoy them. But we can enjoy how they look. I love the colour they bring. So pretty. I'm going to walk through a berry path. Excuse me, berries. Very nearly walked into a fairy circle. Look at the difference in colour. Just avoided that at the last minute. Now these mounds as well are not moles, as you might think, but they're made by ants. Different types of ants create these mounds. So it's a bit like termite hills, but on a smaller scale. Now I guess, is that the track I should have taken? Will be taking? Not right now. And then this track, I suppose, takes you maybe Amersham way, I'm not sure. Well, it's the Ridgeway, so no, it would take you towards Wendover probably. Get my bearings. Beautiful blue sky and fluffy clouds. When I left home, I really thought it might rain. I suggested to Kenzie that he comes for a walk with me, but he said he was going to do the local walk and do 2 loops instead. So I'm fine with that. Let's go in here, shall we? Let's see where this path takes us. Oh look, there's more paths. There's people coming out all over the place. All sorts of little pathways. More mushrooms. Nibbled by some little creatures. Sadly, if I carry on this path, it is going to take me completely the wrong direction to the car, which I suspected it might. But I just did a little "where am I" on Google, which is probably my most used search. And it's probably safest if I go back following the route, because if I keep going in that direction, I am completely going the wrong way to get back to Spog. And yeah, it's probably safe to stay on a route you know. Oh, that's like a lot of people up on that hilltop. Up there, look. Lots of people. It's like a big group. Come say hello. 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 The lady came along taking pictures of the cows, and one cow got really friendly. Decided it was going to literally come right up, stick its nose in the camera while she's trying to take a picture. She's like, oh, hello. Bless it. They are cute. That way. That's a really lovely old tree here. Oh, shame about the noisy motorbikes. Oh, and the sirens. Maybe I'll stop here and have a cup of tea next to this tree. We can hang out together. Must be about time for another cup of tea. I think I made the tea a bit strong, to be honest. It's not the best cup of tea I've ever put in a thermos. I could sit in this tree, couldn't I? And drink my tea up there. It's a perfect little tea spot. I think I'll do that. Sitting in the tree, enjoying my nice cup of tea. Annoyingly, there's litter in the tree, a sardine can of all things. Can't even get away from it in a tree. Well, that was very sweet. A lad wanted to climb the tree that I just got into. So I said to his dad, that's okay, I'll come down and wait till he's finished and then I'll go back up. And his mum was like, oh, thank you, you know, he's got ASD, he just likes to do that. And I was like, don't worry about it, got 2 of those at home myself. And the thing is, it gave me opportunity to chat to a mum who looks and sounds a little bit like she's in that area of it's going to be so hard raising an autistic child. And you know, her lad reminds me a lot of Brendan actually when he was the same age. And she, you know, I've just been able to have that conversation with her about the changes, and actually, you know, I'm out here up a tree. She went, oh, so you're escaping? I said, well, I am escaping. I said, but honestly, it's not like that anymore. You know, it's not like it was back when they were really young. You know, they've got their own interests and they've matured and things change. You know, it's very different now to what it was back then. So hopefully I've been able to share a little ray of light. She said it was really nice chatting with me. So, yeah. Yeah. I just saw the look on her face. I thought she reminds me a bit of that look I sometimes had of, this is so hard at times, but so worth it, so worth it. She's got 2 lovely lads. So, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be fine. Yeah, I'm going to drink my tea now and hope no other children come along and turf me out of my tree. Doesn't sound like something I want to walk across, does it? But it's not a rifle range anymore. The 1940s to the 1970s by the British Armed Forces as a training centre for Home Guard post. Okay, now it's just got beautiful orchids and wildlife in it. That sounds far more interesting. I don't wish to get shot as I walk through. Because of my little detour, I keep veering off the path and exploring things. I've currently done 2 miles of my 1.5 mile walk. I just keep adding bits. It did get a bit distracted. I think I'm nearly back. I can hear the road. So, not far now. There were many, 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 many mushrooms here. Well, I found the road. And that up there is the pub I drove past. So we do need to go uphill a little bit. I'm not going to do the walk along the road. I'm going to keep heading this way through the woods. Probably should have turned off a little bit further back up that hilltop. But it'll take me to the car park if I just keep heading up a little bit. Oh, excuse the heavy breathing. Just had to climb up a non-path. Maybe it would have been easier to walk along the road. Just noticed all the silver birch over here. and a very mossy, spongy path. Not quite as spongy as when I was up on the Black Peaks in the Peak District. That route there is where I should have come in, from that direction this way. And there's the car park and Spog. And the joys of van life mean that when you've finished your walk, you can just hang out in your van for a bit. I'm all hiked out now, and I'm all nicely rested after my little sit down in Spog. I've just done all my editing. I've managed to get the vlog to about 25 minutes. I think that's probably long enough, so I'm going to sign off here. I hope you enjoyed today's hike. It was very enjoyable for me. I think it worked out to be about 2.5 miles, maybe 3. I will check, and I will put a little thingy up here for you, or maybe up here. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to head home now. I'll see you all tomorrow.